what does it take for financial advisory firms to attract and keep top talent? Joined today by Brad Bueermann, Lisa Crafford to discuss just that. Brad, Lisa, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Matt.
So Brad, I'll start with you. Historically, how do you feel advisors have done when it comes to attracting and keeping their best talent?
Well, I got to tell you, Matt, advisors came out of a world where it was a competitive sport to see who you could poach. We had a fixed pool of advisors, and most of those advisors had been produced by wirehouses for independent producers. It became the happy hunting ground. But that's changed. The number of total advisors that we have is going down. The need for advice is going up, and we now have a talent crunch.
So with that talent crunch in mind, Lisa, what can advisors do to kind of make sure they're doing the best job they can to keep good people?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really about active management, right? It's finding the right people, bringing them in, but then keeping them. And that means creating meaningful job descriptions in roles that aren't necessarily advisory. It means creating career paths that really attract the folks to be entrepreneurial and to try things that haven't been done before, and then to actively manage them as top performers or low performers. There's a different strategy for either, but to give everybody an opportunity to continue to grow in their career and look outside of the business and the industry to keep finding new ways to stretch those leadership and personal and professional development muscles.
I think that is exactly that. We have to be looking outside of the industry. We have to be attracting talent from all places, from technology, from hospitality, from other industries that we're not even thinking about, and be a broader catch area for talent.
There's this book that I've read called Who Not How, Lisa, which I'm so intrigued by. It's about finding good people and not necessarily knowing the role exactly you're putting them in. And then when you're looking outside the industry, like you said, it's such an important piece of all that to kind of have that mindset of who, not how.
Yeah, one of my good friends is a COO of a huge RIA out in California, and she got the job because she was a Pilates instructor.
That's great.
And the CEO came in and took one of her classes. Loved how she communicated, loved her passion, and just loved her approach to life. And she'd never heard of an REA, she'd never worked at one before, and she's making huge impacts in our space and for other folks, and in really just thinking differently about how we run and manage firms today.
That dovetails into another problem that we have, which is diversity. When we were simply taking people from the same pool of advisors, we have this traditional base, which was made up primarily of men. And we don't have the diversity. We don't have women, we don't have people of color, we don't have the cultural diversities that we need in it. If we're looking outside of our own industry, if we're doing that, being open to attracting the Pilates instructor, we're going to have a much more dynamic and diverse group of advisors.
Yeah.
Lisa, it's interesting to me because I think sometimes people hear attracting and retaining talent comes down to money. Does it come down to money, or is there a lot of these cultural elements we're talking about are critical here as well?
Yeah, so money's good, right? And it's important, and it needs to be the base of, how we treat employees. We need to pay people a livable wage, right? And make sure that we're using incentive comp and other monetary things as ways to reward them for things that are measured and managed. But money is not everything. We need to create an environment and firms where we're attracting motivated people and allowing them to flourish. And that's not going to be done by just simply overpaying and continuing to give people raises. We really need to attract meaning to that, right, to the money that they're earning, but really just create an environment where they actually want to do more than their job and do different things and to stretch themselves professionally or technically.
I totally agree with that. Money doesn't motivate people. Money rewards motivated people.
Yeah.
And so as a result of that, if you create a culture that people want to be in, then that's the starting place. Investing more on the culture, more on the idea, more on growth of where people can grow personally in their career, and making it much more of a family. Yeah. And I think that is, by the way, how smaller RIAs compete with larger ones.
Yeah.
They are more adept at creating that culture than a large RIA. in the marketplace.
So you're saying that even the mid-size, the smaller firms, can compete with a large firm because they've built great culture.
But there's going to be certain people who want a smaller firm and certain people that want a bigger firm. It's just like our clients. Some want a really boutique firm and some want a big name that they've known and heard for years and years. So, I think part of that is knowing who you are as a firm and leaning in on your strengths and using that to really draw and drive your talent acquisition strategy, rather than just saying we'll take everybody, but saying this is our culture, these are our core values, this is what's important to us. If you agree and this fires you up, come work for us. Right?
I agree with that.
That's going to get the right people on your boat. And regardless if you're 5 people, 50 people, or 500 people, you'll be a great culture if you're finding the right people who really, really buy into what it is that you're doing and you can articulate that to them.
Totally right. You've got to know who you are and who you want to be in order to attract the right people.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Know thyself and good things happen. Brad, Lisa, favorite conversation of the day. Thank you both so much.
Thanks,
Thanks so
Matt.
much.
Appreciate
Matt.
you. Hey, for Edge TV, I'm Matt Ackerman.